Alright, this is going to be another boring non-shooting video, just some updates on how I'm getting on with the GHK Glock 17. So about a week and a half ago I put another 41 magazines through the gun at the range. This was all shooting drills, drawing from the holster, firing between 2 to 6 shots at metal targets at different ranges, reholstering, etc. So I've now fired over 100 magazines through the gun, over 2,000 BBs, so I'm getting a good feel for the gun. So I just want to give you some updates on what I've done to it. So I've added this magazine well. This is a Garda magazine well for Glock 7 for Marui Glock 17. It goes on okay. The hole for the screw matches up perfectly. I haven't done anything to kind of make it more smooth, but it does help with reloading. Magazines go in nice. I can still pull them out from the front if I want, but I've never had one of these magazines get stuck. Now I'm one of the few people in the world that actually like Glock sights. I like the big white dot. And I also like the white outline rear notch. Now you can see something different on the rear sight here. This is a rear sight from a KSC Glock 34, which is adjustable. I had this previously on my custom steel or Garda custom steel G34. It goes on fine. It's a bit of a tight fit, but it goes on pretty well. Seems to be pretty secure on the GHK Glock. I do like the sight picture, and yep, now it's adjustable if I need to adjust it. I've got to say I'm really happy with the stippling job that was done for me and the reshaping. It really makes a world of difference to the comfort in firing the gun. One of the biggest things for the comfort, and I've mentioned this before, is on the trigger safety and bottom of the trigger there is a kind of either a seam line or a sharp edge, which can actually, if you're shooting a lot, especially without gloves, can be physically uncomfortable. You know, the first time I fired the gun before I had any modification done, I found after probably about 10-15 magazines my finger was actually getting sore. I will say the trigger pull, well, not necessarily getting lighter, it's still around 7 pounds something, not the 5 something pound, not 5 pounds as advertised on some websites. It has gotten smoother. Yeah, we used a trigger pull gauge and it was about, I think, 7.6 pounds, 7.5 pounds maybe, but it has smoothed out, so I'm happy with that. And you'll notice after 100 plus magazines and literally hundreds of presentations, you know, draws and reholsters from the holster, there is pretty much no wear on the slide. I don't know what the finish is, but the finish is holding up really well. I don't know whether it's some sort of parkerized finish or whether it's something like Tenifer on the original Gen 3 Glocks or Melanite or something, but it's not a cheap paint finish like you get on some other pot metal, like you get on pot metal guns like WEs. Seems to be a really durable finish. What else? Not much else to say. I am still getting the occasional issue where I'm firing and it's not chambering a BB. So I fire and it's just a blank shot, just firing gas. This probably happens once every 2 or 3 magazines, and we think it's because the nozzle sometimes is not retracting. I'm going to see if I can get it to do this on camera. It doesn't seem to want to do it recently. But sometimes the nozzle, which is very long, actually gets kind of stuck in the hop chamber and doesn't retract. So we're thinking the slide is cycling fast enough, and if the nozzle gets stuck and doesn't retract, the slide actually cycles before the nozzle can move back and then back far enough to pick up a BB. We thought first of all maybe the nozzle return spring was not strong enough, but it is I've stripped the gun completely and it is a very strong spring. Problem seems to be getting less. We're not sure if it was perhaps related to maybe me overgassing the magazines, or maybe when the nozzle gets too cold, because it does seem to happen after I fired a few magazines through the gun, not during the beginning. But hopefully that problem will go away with use. We're still trying to figure out exactly what it is. We thought maybe the O-rings had expanded, but that doesn't seem to be the case. The nozzle is still moving very freely, and I'll try and show this. Right, so you can see. So if I pull the nozzle all the way forward, and it snaps back very quickly, very smartly. So yeah, we're still trying to figure that out. It's not a deal breaker, and it's actually kind of quite good, because if I'm firing and I'm mostly shooting at steel, and I don't hear that ding hitting the target, I know I've got a failure to feed, and I'll do a tap rack bang drill. So it's quite good kind of malfunction training. But hopefully that problem will go away. Alright, that's all I've got. I'm, so far really happy with the gun, really impressed with the gun. Like I said, really would recommend getting your frame stippled and reshaped. Makes a world of difference, sanding down the trigger. But yeah, if you like the Glock Gen 3 frame, then stick with that. And the only other thing I would really recommend changing, which I've done here, is get the Garda steel takedown lever for Garda or for TM Gen 4 Glocks. It works fine in the GHK. It's slightly longer, and it makes it much easier to strip the gun. It's much easier to pull down the takedown lever to take off the slide. Yeah, that's all I've got.